Welcome to the Jessica's Music Talk Pod. Yes, today it will be in English because it's Music Made in Lux edition today. I am really sorry for last week. I couldn't do the new episode last week. I hope you liked all the former interviews that we had in the podcast. So for the Music Made in Lux edition, we had Next Deed, and we had also just about a musical duo. And for the Portuguese edition, we had Nico Guedes, we had Ricardo dos Santos from Heavenwood, and we had Paul Terrão also, and Palavras Malditas. If you want to watch the interviews that are in Portuguese, and if you don't understand, don't forget you can activate the subtitles in the settings of the video, so you can also put them in English if you want to watch the Portuguese interviews and understand what they are talking about, because they are great musicians and it's worth it to listen to them. And I also had Shina's lots. And today I'm really glad to receive a very, very good singer-songwriter from Luxembourg that I met when we organized the Groen Club open mics. And it's a pleasure to receive JON MEEHAN. It's
Hello.
Jonathan Meehan or JON MEEHAN?
Stage name is JON MEEHAN.
JON MEEHAN.
Yeah.
How are you, John?
I'm very well,
Nice to
Jessica.
meet you.
Yeah, I'm fine. Good to see you again after all this time.
Yeah, it's a really long time. So I came to Portugal since 2021. And yeah, so the last time we saw each other was at the open mics. So it's really, and we also met each other at Lata's anniversary concert.
Yeah, you come
Thank
back sometimes, don't you?
Yeah. And I'm really, really glad to receive you in the podcast because you are releasing. Is it an album or is it an EP?
No, it's just an EP of 3 songs that I
Okay.
recorded last year in Holt Studios. And yeah, I'm putting it out at the end of March with the release show. Yeah, just 3 of my own songs that I'm happy to finally get down recorded, and it's been a dream for many years, childhood dream really. So I was really happy to get the possibility to do that, and especially happy to do it with such great musicians. I think we're pretty lucky in Luxembourg. We've got some really good musicians, and it was a great opportunity to fulfill that potential.
Yeah, that's right. We have a lot of good musicians in Luxembourg, and since I left, I was in December to Luxembourg for the holidays, and I was to a jam session and an open mic, and I discovered new musicians, new young musicians, and the music scene is really, really getting always better. So I'm sure that the musicians who are working with you are really great. But just for the people who never heard about you, who don't know you, my usual first question is always, how did your relation with the music start?
Right at the beginning. Okay.
Yes, from
It
the
started
start.
really when I was a kid, listening to my parents' records. They had these old records, like jazz records, and then I've got 2 elder brothers, and they had a collection of like punk albums, AC/DC. This was the late 70s. This is going back quite a while, and I really got into that. And then a few years later, I really got switched on to rhythm and blues and jazz music from a local radio station. We had a local radio station where I lived in Ireland, lived near Dublin, and there was a really great local radio station. They played like blues and jazz music, and I just really found that that was my favorite type of music. Although I like lots of different types of music, I really flashed on that, and that pushed me to want to play the guitar. So I started out playing guitar when I was 12, and I really think I invested quite a lot of time learning the guitar, particularly blues guitar, and listening to people like Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, these kind of people. And then later I moved to London, and I was in music college in London, and I studied a bit of jazz guitar, did a bit of singing there as well. I was also busking in London Underground, so that was kind of my first live experience, really. And at that point in my 20s, I had already sort of experimented with writing songs. And I think probably I didn't have enough life experience to really make it work, if you know what I mean. I was just like getting used to the process of writing songs. I got a bit frustrated with it, and I put it to one side for many, many years and just continued playing guitar and in cover bands and things like that. And then about 10 years ago, this desire to write songs came kind of flooding back out of nowhere. And I felt like I had something to say in songs. And it really just got quite prolific. I now can write songs quite regularly. I don't really have a problem writing songs now, like I might have done before. And I decided then, logically, it would be a good idea to record some of those songs properly. And got in touch via Latagovaya, thankfully, put me in touch with some great musicians. And I went into the studio last year and put down 3 songs. And here we are. So I'm now trying to make something of that, really.
That's really nice. And so it's the first time, because I heard you with your own song since a long time. So
You know, I think it was about 7 years ago that I went to the
yeah,
club, something like that. You know,
yeah,
it's quite
yeah.
a long time
And
ago.
so it's the first time you are releasing them, actually.
Yeah, I have recorded things in the past, but I haven't really done anything with them properly. And this is the first time I've got a professional quality recording, you know.
We will talk about the release, and we will also talk about the musicians who will be with you on stage, and all the organization, and also where the people can find all the informations about you. Actually, I will put all the informations, all the links about your pages, your social media, your Spotify. Everything will be here in the description of the video for all the people who
Super.
want
Mm-hmm.
to go and watch what you do and follow you and follow also your work and your events. But before that, a little bit about your working process and also your inspiration. What inspires you when you write songs?
Well, I think that's changed over time. Probably like most people in the beginning, you get inspired to want to perhaps, you know, copy or emulate other artists that really made a strong impression on you, you know. So we all have those early influences that we try to, you know, maybe work a little bit in that style too. And then I think what's interesting is possibly by playing lots and lots and lots of covers, you sort of integrate this music and you forget a little bit about trying to be like somebody. And you just find what's also by singing covers, you find maybe what suits your voice, what styles you're really, you know, turned on by. And instead of trying to, you know, wasting time trying to do things that maybe don't fit you, you just narrow it down to what actually you're passionate about and what's kind of authentic. And I think my style is quite retro, really, but at the same time, I'm trying to cover contemporary ideas in the lyrics. So even if it has a retro kind of style or feel, I think it's, you know, can be brought up to date by what you're actually, you know, singing about and the stories you're telling in your songs. So yeah, it's the influences. I think that's for other people to really hear. You know, I wouldn't say I'm sounding like anyone in particular, but you will probably hear like little little examples of styles of music in the songs, you know, coming through. But I think ultimately it's great if your song sounds like you and it's original, even if it may be slightly reminiscent of a style of music or an artist. That's okay as well, you know. It doesn't have to be
And
100%.
you said you had things,
original.
you felt that you had things to say. So what kind of messages do you want to transmit to your public outside?
Well, I find it's interesting to cover lots of different themes. Okay, if you sort of focus on one thing, there's a risk that it can get a bit repetitive and you get known for that. And I think when we start out writing songs, very often we're speaking in our own voices about our own experiences. Okay, and I think that's kind of a normal process to go through. But what I find interesting now is maybe trying to write songs from other people's perspectives, you know, going into character of somebody that maybe you wouldn't normally relate to, and, you know, tell stories from other people's perspectives, or even, you know, sometimes things can be observing what's happening in the world. They can have a political aspect to them. They can also have a humorous aspect to them. I think that's important, that there's a bit of humor, because I think we live in possibly, you know, serious times. There's a lot of negativity, and I think that's important also to have a little bit of light-hearted humor, in a bit of irony, a bit of yeah, self-irony as well. You know,
Yeah, you always had that.
I hope so, because I think, you know, you don't want to be judgmental as if you know better. You know, so what's interesting is when you're singing about something, maybe some difficult topic, and you have a bit of a balanced view on it, you know. So you could be singing about yourself, or you could be singing about somebody else, you know. And maybe when there's a crossover between your experience and other people's experiences, or in a song where there are several voices, for example, and you're not really sure who's speaking or who it's about, then I think that can be interesting as well, you know. Not always just staying in your own box, but sort of stepping outside it a little bit.
Of course. And how do you see the future of your career? What are your goals? Do you want to? Are you motivated now that you are releasing your own songs? Are you motivated to do more? Are you imagining yourself really dive deeper into it, or how do you see now your musical future?
That's a good question. I think I'm quite realistic about, you know, going with the flow in my own pace. I'm not a full-time musician. I'm a teacher actually, and I do a lot of music as a hobby. I've done music for, you know, a long time now. So to me, I do music as kind of like to explore something, to get satisfaction for myself. I'm like my own customer, if you like. You know, I don't have any real plans at the moment to invest a lot of time trying to make money out of music, because I think the industry is really set up in a way that musicians do not make music anymore, unfortunately, unless you're working really hard and you're maybe gigging and pouring yourself into it. I'm mainly doing it to satisfy my curiosity, to try to have challenge myself to write songs that I think are of improving quality, you know, in terms of lyrics and in terms of the musical style. So it's really, first and foremost, that I get a sense of fulfillment and enjoyment out of it. And then, of course, by recording it, you know, you're bringing it out into the public domain then, you know, and by playing live, if you get good reactions, that's great as well. the interactions, the feedback motivates you. But you got to keep your vision, I think, and stay authentic to what it is you're actually passionate about. And I think that's one luxury, possibly. There are pros and cons of being a full-time professional musician and being a part-time musician. But one advantage I have, I think, is I don't really have to sell anything to depend on it financially. So it gives me a kind of freedom to lay back and try to take time to do it well, bring it forward when it's ready. But I think there's also, by recording music, I think there's also a practical side of raising your profile, your visibility, and perhaps getting different types of gigs than you might do if you're just, doing solo gigs without any visibility on the platforms. A little bit of publicity is good.
So imagine now, because I always say the advantage of the podcast is that it will be put on YouTube and the whole world can watch the interview, or
Sure.
Or even if you do interviews with other people who put the interview in a way that it can be watched internationally. So imagine now people discover you in an international level and they like what you do, and you start to have invitations to go to play in other countries and do perhaps an international tour. Would you go for it? Would you be interested in that?
I think it would be, well, it's nice to dream, isn't it? But I think it would be not very practical right now. I've got young kids, but perhaps increasingly as a retirement plan, moving towards that. And if there's interest, it's great. I mean, if there's interest, there could be possibilities. At least you get a choice, right, of doing some cool things, some collaborations or some gigs. It'd be great to do some gigs abroad. Why not?
Actually, you are not Luxembourgish. You come from another country.
Yes, I'm Irish. I come from Ireland.
Yeah. Do you have also some impact there in Ireland? Do people know you, know your music?
No, not really. No, I'm very much based in Luxembourg. I've family and friends in Ireland who know about my music, but I haven't as yet really pushed anything or played there yet. But that could be a possibility. That might be a nice thing. The good thing about like festivals is, if you could get onto that sort of level, then there might be possibilities to travel and do things there, if the style fits.
I hope you will have impact in Ireland so that the people of your own country can also follow
that would be
your
quite
music.
cool. Yeah, that would be nice.
That would be nice. So if you can share your work, and you can share the interviews you have with all these people, and we never know. Perhaps we will have a big concert there.
Well, maybe the summer holidays. I've got
I
good
wish
summer
you.
holidays, so it's possible to do things then.
I wish you really all the success, because I know your style. I already heard you several times, and I know you are really good in what you do, and you
Thank you
really
very much.
deserve it. Even if you do it just like part-time, if you are not like living from the music, you write your songs like someone who is living from it. You really respect your music. You really work for it, and you really deserve every success, really. And now let's talk about the release. So
Yes.
what can you say about this great event?
Well, I'm very lucky to have a great venue, which is ROCAS Bar in Luxembourg-City,
Great.
with the stage and everything. And we're going to play there on the 29th of March, which is a Saturday. So that's going to be full band lineup with keyboards, bass, guitar, me on guitar and vocals, and drums. So
Okay, and who will be the lucky musicians who will take place on the stage with you?
I've got Benoit Martini on drums, Tom Heck on bass, and
Wow.
Claude Schaus on keyboards.
My God, this is just the greatest.
Well, I don't know how it happened,
Some of the greatest. Some of the greatest. They are not the only ones who are good, but they really are part of the greatest. So you are very lucky. They are very, very good musicians. Very. Benoit Martini, I worked with him already several times. He's also a cool guy to work with. Tom Hack, yeah. He was part of the Groen Club family, so I know him very well too. Claude Schaus, I don't know him personally very well, but I know his work. So really nice. So it will be a great.
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm very excited. Yeah,
It's it's a pity that I cannot be there, because if I was in Luxembourg at that moment, I would not miss it for nothing. So great musicians at Roca's Place, David's Place. So it's Rue des Bains, 29th of March. And will you have also first act, or
I
is
don't think so. I think we're going to I might do an acoustic set in the beginning and then bring the band on. Yeah.
Okay. So, and it starts at what time?
I think we're going to go
entry?
for 8:30.
Okay.
8:30, and the entrance will be €10. It's a ticketed event.
Okay. So don't forget 29th of March at Roca's Bar in Rue des Bains, and you will put every information also on your Facebook page. Yes.
Sure.
Let's talk about your social media. So you have Facebook, you have Instagram,
yeah,
you have YouTube.
I'm on YouTube with my single and Spotify and Bandcamp as well. And they're the main ones really that I've used for my single. And then there'll be obviously 2 more songs coming on the 29th of March in a similar style to the song that's up already. The song I got up already is a song called Bourgeois Blues. It's sort of a humorous song. Yeah, it's kind of a bit more rock and roll style, I think. Up-tempo kind of rock and roll song. I had a lot of fun recording that. So
if you want to listen to it, just stay until the end of the interview, so you can listen to the song at the end.
Great, thanks for that.
So, and do you have also a website?
I'm just about to, the website's just about to go online. Yeah, Jon Meehan, you'll be able to get all the information about the recording, and some lyrics of songs are up there. So that's going to be coming online, I think, in a couple of days, hopefully.
Okay, so don't forget, I will put all the informations here in the description of the video, all the links to Jon Meehan's social medias and Bandcamp and Spotify. And if people want to book you for gigs, where do they have to contact you?
Well, I guess you could send a message on Facebook. That would be probably the easiest way right now. But there will be an email on the website for contact as well. So that would be another possibility.
Okay, thank you very much. Just a little last question. If you had an advice to give to all the starters, all the young people who want to start to write songs and to release their own stuff, what would you tell them?
I think you sometimes have to really stick with it. You know, people have different phases of maturing as songwriters. You know, some people go through a period where it's a hard slog and you don't really see great benefits in the beginning. You have to learn to do the nuts and bolts of how it works to put together songs, and just try and focus on being authentic and coming with your own experience. Maybe that's the ultimate long-term thing that counts, is, you know, finding your own voice, as they say. A lot of people are doing it, so it is competitive. So I think it helps to have something that is a little original, you know. If you can bring some originality to it, then that might help it stand out from the rest, indeed.
Thank you so much, John. Do you have something to add, to tell the people, something you want to tell the people outside, something important that I did not ask, or what do you want to say?
My final message?
Yeah, your final message.
Stay positive. Stay positive, and yeah, that's my final message.
Thank you so much. It was really nice to see you again. It is so great to see that you are releasing your own songs. I was waiting for it since a long time. I always told you, do that. And I know Lata also told you a lot of times. We really believe in you, and we really believe in your music. You have also great lyrics, meaningful lyrics. It's not just the music, it's the whole ensemble. And yes, I wish that everything works well, that the release will have a lot of success. I'm sure it will. So don't forget, everybody, go on the 29th of March. Everybody goes to ROCAS Place. ROCAS Place, which is one of my favorite places in Luxembourg. I can call it a little bit also a bit home, because I started also there in the jam sessions. I met a lot of musicians there. So go to the ROCAS Place at the 29th of March to see John Meehan's release with great musicians as Benoit Martini, Tom Hack, Crouch, and follow also John Meehan's pages, follow John Meehan's work, and you will see what he does is really, really good. For the podcast, I want to thank all the people who support the podcast and supported the podcast until here. The podcast started in November, so it's really like advancing slowly, and people start to know the podcast even more. So if you really want to help Jessica's Music Talk Pod, if you like interviews like that, if you think that this podcast is worth it, and that this job is worth it, and that all the musicians can have the chance to be interviewed, and that people can have the chance to discover artists that sometimes are not invited in other places or other radios or on TV, and are really good. And if you really want to support and help the podcast, please like the page, like the video, share the video, share the podcast. I am also on Facebook. I'm on Instagram too. And I also opened a TP account for the people who want to support the podcast financially. You can give a donation of any amount you want, even if it's just €1. If you really want to help the podcast financially, you can do a donation via TP, or also, so TP, it's TIP 3Es. And you can also do a donation via PayPal. You can search for the podcast profile with jessicatalkpod at gmail.com. If you don't want to support the podcast financially, it's not an issue. If you just share and you like the videos, and if you subscribe to the channel and also activate the notifications, it's already a big help. Share with your friends, share with other musicians. For the other musicians, other people who want to have an interview and to make discover their projects, you can send an email with your promotion, with your EPKs and communication informations to jessicatalkpod@gmail.com, or via the social media, the Facebook page or the Instagram page. I will also put the links here below. Thank you very much to all the people who follow the podcast. Thank you to all the musicians also who support the podcast and who accept invitations, like you, John. Thank you that you accepted the invitation. It was a pleasure to talk about your music. And see you next week. Next week I will have a band from Portugal. So they are the band. It's the Quinces band. It's a band from João Moraes. The interview will be in Portuguese. They are from here, from Porto. And it's a band, a rock blues, but rock blues band. So João is really into the Beatles style and Led Zeppelin and music like that. So they are very, very young people, but they are really, really good. And the band is formed by Brazilian and Portuguese young musicians. If you want to discover them, it's next week on Friday on Jessica's Music Talk Pod. Thank you very much to all. I wish you all a wonderful day or night, depending on the time you are watching the video. Thank you, John.
Thank you very much, Jessica.
All the success, and see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Feeling kinda low, got somewhere to go. Pick up my guitar and let the music flow. They call, say where you at. I got no time to chat. I gotta write my song and it won't take long. I was looking for some peace, little peace of mind. The more I try, you know, the less I find. Getting hard to know how things are gonna go, and I don't know if we're gonna reap what we sow. Man, won't you tell me how to kick this bourgeois blues? All a man could need, but I just can't seem to lose. I guess I got the bourgeois blues. Well, now I roam and I roam and try to find a better home, but everywhere is taken and I'm feeling so alone. Give a guy a break, a chance that he can take. I'll show you what I'm made of and it ain't all fake. If you're feeling the heat and you just can't compete, try a little Harley Davidson therapy. Never satisfied, feeling kind of fried. Sometimes I think that I'm gonna lose my mind. Well, man, can't you tell me how to kick these bourgeois blues? All a man could need, but I just can't seem to lose. I guess I got the bourgeois blues. take down my hiking boots, sell off my guitars and my Jaguar. Live a life of freedom.